If only there was a faster way to level my homunculus. Wait, why don't we try this? 5 levels a day does sound pretty good, don't you think? That's right. With some experimenting in the labs with the latest and farming build meta of cast delay and movement speed, we've cooked up a Begetter build that should help max out your homunculus pretty quickly. Please also do note that while you should gain some decent Zenny and gains when optimized too, I'm not going to promote this as a pure farming build, but you could make some tweaks for your needs or possibly just be pleasantly surprised at your own results. After all, we're merchant class too. Why should Lightbringers have all the fun? We will want to optimize damage, cast delay, and move speed for one-shotting the monsters and soul hunting grounds, primarily using fire expansion and health plants. However, if your map buffs or gear are not at optimal strength available for full hunting grounds farm, I will also show you this also does perform in the Comodo maps as an alternative or budget option. Some requirements for the build are as follows: access to soul hunting grounds, and preferably all map buffs unlocked to max. If you do not have all the buffs, I urge you to continue working on those because it will help out a lot. This farm is built and optimized for offline farming to make the best usage of cast delay and movement speed for your skills. So keep this in mind that offline is definitely preferred here. Not using offline may have different results, but I always encourage you to experiment. You will also take on the task of petting this oh-so-friendly cat in the main map version of Soul Hunting Grounds and look for the move speed plus 30% buff. If our kitty friend does not have the one in the lineup, simply click off the options by clicking on the back button of your phone and try again. To do this, you may change channel for a quick way to refresh the NPC. Other methods include also loading into your home and loading back out. And of course, you must be Begetter, and preferably with the rune that allows you to have both homunculus out at the same time so you can level both up at once. Why don't we get started? First, let's take a look at the skill build we're going to utilize. The primary spells that we're going to use and optimize for are Fire Expansion and Hell Plant. We also need Prep for Elite from our Adventure Rank Up Adventure skills. Let's go ahead and ensure we have everything that we need. Over in Merchant, we have Buying Low, Overprice, Loud Exclamation, and Fundraising. Later on, we're going to use some breakthrough points in both Fundraising and Loud Exclamation. Over in Alchemist, we're going to get Max Call Homunculus, only 1 in Res Homunculus. We're also going to get 10 in Life Psychic and Max Breakthrough later, Homunculus Strength, Axe Hammer Mastery, which will also max Breakthrough later for the extra attack. We're also going to put points into Acid Terror and Acid Demonstration. And I also had some extra points that at one point I put into Gene Modification. In Creator, we need Max Hell Plant, Max Homunculus Strength, and I have some points into Powerful Acid Demonstration, and currently only 10 points into Improved Acid Demonstration. The thing about Fire Expansion is that it's actually based a lot on your points into the acid skill line. So while I do not have this maxed out, if for any reason your Fire Expansion is not killing the monsters in Soul Hunting Grounds, you can actually put more points back into here to help improve your damage in Fire Expansion. And over in Genetic, we want to max Fire Expansion, Cart Boost, and Life Merge. After this, I have 35 points left over. These are flexible points that you're welcome to put into other spots. For instance, you could max out Loud Exclamation. You also have the option of getting a little extra attack from Enhanced Cart since we are using Cart Boost in this build. These are flexible points that you can use. If for any reason your Fire Expansion is not one-shotting the monsters, you could consider putting more points into Improved Acid Demo to improve your Fire Expansion damage. Let's now go ahead and check out the suggested item build. This is what we had found worked great through our testing. Feel free to let me know your thoughts and experiences if you try this out. Remember, with Ancient Gear suggestions, you can always use the brave versions of the gear with the same ruled lines. You can check the Handbook Equipment tab to double check the names for what you are looking for. For offhand, we are using Sins of the Living with a max cast delay roll. For cards, you could use the Year of Savage Blessing card, which boosts base XP from killing monsters. For damage, Thor, the God of Thunder card actually provides the best neutral damage boost for your hell plants. Other damage options could be Lewd card, which provides damage to undead, or the Dark Shadow card, which is damage to dark. In the armor slot, we're going to find more neutral damage to help us with our plants. To help us with this, we're going to find an ancient with a max no attribute attack 20%. The ancients that we can find this line are Mist Traveler, Other Shore Patrol, or Divine Guidance. Luckily, refining isn't necessary for this slot. The other option would be to find something with plus to size if maybe your damage isn't up to par for one mob or the other, but going for neutral is really the best all-rounder here. For cards, I suggest an Empress Gyps card for plus neutral damage. If you happen to own one, the Priestess Magalita card for blessing for move speed is also a really nice option. For Garment, it's the best slot for ignore defense for your plants. So we're going to pick up a Leader's Pauldron with skill damage 12% line. For cards, we could use some utility or extra damage cards. Archer Icarus gives Windstep as an idea for some move speed. Damage cards like Raedric Star card for more neutral, or we could also use Chucky Tree Star, Vagabond Wolf Star, or even Zenobia are very viable options for damage boosting. For shoes, most ancient shoes have a 12% move speed, so go ahead and grab one. If you need some more overall damage, something like Fair Judgment with a damage and M damage line. If your plants need some help, some more specific physical stats from the Dragon Slayer War Boots and a physical pen line could be what you're looking for. For cards, we could always just look for our speed options. Moonlight Flower, a Moonlight Flower Star card, if you have it, or Flute Player Star card, or Star Emperor card is viable. Swordsman Senia card is unique in that it offers a bit of move speed and skill damage. Your best budget option would definitely be the Water Spirit Turtle card. For accessories, if your damage is more than enough, you could very well utilize plus base XP Saint Rings. These can be purchased in Prentera at the event merchant near the south side. Simply click the second tab at the shop. Otherwise, attack accessories like the Pendant of Ugin and Sharplight enchants as needed. Cards can be extra damage like Moonlight Tendrillions and their star versions. Smoky Star also has base move speed on it as well as an option. For weapon, this happens to not just be for Lightbringers after all. We're looking at Heartbreaker. This weapon's T5 offers the plus 15 move speed on kill, and that's what we want to utilize as well here. So you will want a 2-slotted Heartbreaker to equip, and remember to have a single slot version to be able to make it tier 5. For cards, we can use Magic Pattern paper cards for move speed. However, if you find you are not dealing enough damage, maybe due to the monster sizes, you could utilize Drake Star in one slot. Let's start checking out some headwear. For head slot, Cake Thief is definitely the best overall option. It offers 5% move speed, Fizz Pen, and on kills, 5% move speed able to stack up to 2 times. By far the best one to use. For cards, you could use Mistress or Mistress Star card, so you're not using up bottles for your hell plants. For an extra base XP option, the Golden Feast Festival card is also there. If your Cake Thief headwear is refined, you could very well use the Bigfoot Lobster card also for farming. For face, the Illusory Light Mirror for move speed. For mouth, we have Reaper's Dagger also for move speed on kill that stacks up. And for back, we have the One-Eyed Captain for move speed and SP regen. And we also have the Ashy Star Flying Feather if you happen to have its magical version of it. For tail, we have the Panel Guardian or Silver Bell to assist with cast delay. But Panel Guardian does offer a bit of skill damage. For Shadow Gears and Extracts, really anything to help with damage or cast delay. In this case, Arcane Codex works best for helping with a bit more cast delay for fire expansion. Any boots for move speed increase. Other slots can help with physical stats such as White Duke Manteau in Garment, Chosen's Armor or Perseverance in Chest. While I didn't have any shadow accessories equipped, my suggestions would be Hermit's Bundles, or if you happen to have the Chosen's Armor, you could use the combo here with Ring of Loyalty for the 5% extra attack. Why don't we go ahead and move on and see what runes we need. Runes won't be your very typical setup, so let's look at what we want to use. Chaos Fusion. The top line offers extra splash damage on fire expansion. It's not really required, but it's not bad if you have one. Dark Thorns. This is very suggested for your held plant damage for one-shotting. You would like to look for a very strong top line. Void Summon Rune. You mainly want the third line, so you are leveling 2 Homunculus at a time. This is also an essential rune to the Begetter to have in their kit and gameplay to have for sure in all places. Berserk Flame Rune. You want this third line equipped so you are not using materials or bottles for fire expansion use. These I consider your main priority runes for this leveling build. The rest of the slots can be flexible or just use the attribute slots. The main thing I want to point out is to not use the Vine Purgatory rune. We do not want the Hell Plant stacked in one spot, because we want them randomly placed to try and snipe out mobs as they see them spawn and scattered. Your attribute runes should be the damage to races where you can, neutral damage, and ignore defense. If you are having issues with fire expansion cast time, you can consider the chant rune as well. Since we have arcane runes, I wouldn't say it's essential to level any of these, but if you have these leveled up anyway, then I would suggest these to check out. Transmission Rune, White Blade Rune, and Spirit Rune. For buffs and consumables for prepping for your farm, I would say for cooked food, I would highly suggest Castellet Food, which is your original will salads. If maybe you don't have enough move speed gears, then you could use the move speed food of original will fish steaks. For ensuring maximum base XP gains, I highly suggest using your Pouring Growth Panaceas for at least all your green CT time available. You can get these at least once a week from completing ET. Also, there is usually a monthly donation event that gives bonus ones, so they tend to stockpile for veteran players. I'm sure you have some in storage. You can also get extra ones with your assistant medals as needed. Bee foods as needed. If your damage is up to par, then save these for your instance runs. For pets, Quev has a passive move speed buff you can use, or if you happen to have Cherry Snow Spirit, which has the same passive. If you also happen to own these mounts, the goat power buff offered from them will also definitely help for a part of your farming time. Mercenary cats aren't necessary, but they won't hurt, especially if you're farming on a main and not mirror map for the day. Having Wasabi and Gura for extra tank or res in case of any oopsies of MVP spawns on the map isn't a bad idea. Gura also has some SP regen in his skills to throw at you. As mentioned earlier, if maybe you are newer to the game or having issues with optimizing for soul hunting grounds, I did find that this did work out also fairly well in Sweet Dreamfields targeting fur seals and alligators. You should have a much easier time with these mob requirements, also due to their lower levels and HP, and definitely have your archipelago buffs unlocked from Dream City as well to get maximum output also within these maps. With consistency and optimizing, hitting 5 levels a day was really nice to see for myself and my guildmates through our testing with this build. It seemed like getting more than that wasn't really happening, probably due to their level and experience scaling. If the homunculus were below level 100, they definitely got more than that. But after the 100 to 125 range and above, they seem to scale at the same rate no matter what. So maybe now you can estimate or plan out your homunculus level plan moving forward and get our little friends to max out fairly quickly. My usual KPM on average was probably at least 95 to 105 usually, but these are some real shots of some of my better averages I was able to hit during farming. When I was testing in Comodo, I was hitting on average around 140 to 160 with this build. I did this quick 2-hour test with panaceas and all optimized best I could, and I did manage to squeeze an extra 2 levels out before reset in green CT. When I first set up my Liv for testing, she was only level 86, and with just over 3 hours, she jumped straight to 108. And since we all know I can't math, right? I used a little bit more mentor potions to use up the last hour of gross panacea, and she ended up at 111 in just one night of farm for the first time. I think the results definitely speak for themselves, and I think it's great to have another option for begetters that isn't just potions or rifts as the usuals for homunculus, right? What do you think? Do you want to try homunculus leveling for a bit of something different? Let me know in the comments below. Which homunculus do you plan to be leveling up first? I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to like and subscribe to not miss out on upcoming content. Thank you so much to all my members this month. I appreciate your support, as always. And let's remember everybody, let's guard the eternal love together.